This is Nathan. And you may be wondering, who is Nathan and why should you care? You probably don't know who Nathan is, and that's totally fine. But Nathan is my husband. And he is amazing. And this Saturday, December 13th, 2025, is going to be our 11-year anniversary. And I've been thinking about what I could do for him to show my gratitude and my appreciation and tell him how much I love him. And he's a very simple man, so buying things often doesn't go, like, there's not a lot of stuff he wants to buy. And he just recently got a gaming laptop that he's been wanting for years and years and years that we were able to afford now. So I thought that today I am going to blast my husband. That sounds awful, but it's going to be in a positive way. I want to blast him positively. I want everyone to know what an amazing man he is and how incredibly lucky I am to have found him and to have him as not only my husband, not only the father of my children, not only my very bestest friend in the entire world, but just for the person that he is. The kind, generous, hardworking, thoughtful, creative, funny person that he is. So today, I'm going to blast my husband. So let's blast him. Let's blast this man. This man, like I said, took note of my period products because he knew he might need to help me get them someday. This man let me help pick out the ring because he wanted me to have a say in what I was going to wear. This man came to my work one time. I think it was on my birthday or an anniversary, and he came in with a boombox to this bank when we weren't busy playing our song "Can't Help Falling in Love with You" by Elvis, or the Elvis Presley version. And he brought me flowers, and it was both terrifying to be in the spotlight like that in front of so many people, but also like so amazing that he loved me enough to put himself out there and do that. This man brings me flowers and has brought me flowers every special occasion, or most special occasions, for the last 11 years. I've gotten tons of flowers and I take pictures of them, so I'm going to see if I can find a bunch of the pictures of the bouquets that he's brought me over the years and put them in this video. Yeah, I love the flowers. And recently, this is a recent development, he has brought me flowers, and he's been bringing me more recently because he knows that they make me happy and I like having them in the house. And the one time he didn't find any bouquets that he thought that I would really like, and so he brought a bunch of different flowers and greenery, and I arranged them in a way that I liked, and it filled me up. It made me so happy, and he noticed that. So since then, he's been bringing me bits and pieces, greenery and different types of flowers, so that I can build my own bouquets and put them together the way that I would want. And the fact that he noticed that and that he takes the time to think of that for me is amazing. This man is an amazing father. This man has, I think he's changed more diapers than I ever have. After our first son was born, he said the least he could do was change all the poopy diapers so that I didn't have to. So obviously when he was at work, I had to change some poopy diapers, but for the most part, he changed all of them. When our daughter was born, or when I was pregnant with our daughter, I was incredibly nauseous. And so again, he changed all of our son's dirty diapers whenever he was around so that I didn't have to get nauseous and take care of that. He cleaned up any gross messes so that I didn't have to get nauseous. This man knows that I hate doing the dishes. He absolutely knows that I loathe the dishes most of the time. I don't anymore because of what he did, but I loathe the dishes. And so he took on as one of his household chores the dishes. So if he's home or he's available, he does the dishes and I don't worry about them. because he knows that they're my least favorite. He has his own household chores that he does, and he sets alarms and reminders to make sure that he doesn't forget them, because his ADHD can cause him to be forgetful. But he sets alarms so he doesn't forget. I have always been a perfectionist, and I have always felt the need to push myself really, really far, and this man has always encouraged me to take care of myself, has pushed me to do things that are nourishing for me. And when he notices that I'm getting overwhelmed, or he notices that I am needing something, he's the first one to jump in and either encourage me to go do something for myself, or to offer to do something for me to help me. This man hardly ever says no to me if I ask for help or guidance or a conversation. You have to know how incredibly exhausted he is and how tired he is for him to say no to me asking him for help, on top of working incredibly, incredibly hard. This man pushes himself to provide for me and our family on a daily basis. Sometimes he is traveling, sometimes he's working 12 to 14 plus hour days with a commute. Sometimes the commute is on top of that 12 to 14 hours, sometimes it's included, and he'll still come home and he will do whatever he can to help. He'll help even though he's exhausted and he's worked all day. He knows that I've worked all day, and he comes home and he helps me as well. I know this might seem trivial, but he does most of his own laundry unless I notice that he's running behind, and then I will go help take care of his laundry. But he does most of his own laundry even when he's working super busy, long hours, or not in town. This man takes every opportunity to take his children to their extracurricular activities. Our oldest son does chess, and this become a daddy oldest son thing. The daddy takes him to most of his chess tournaments or most of his chess classes, and so that they can have some bonding time on the way there and the way back. This man takes his daughter to her whatever sport or activity she's trying currently. Right now it's ninja classes, and so whenever he's home, he will take her. This man will take our toddler to go on drives because the toddler wants to go somewhere bye-bye with daddy just by himself, and he knows the importance of those moments, and so he will take the toddler and go drive him around and take him to the flower store to get me flowers, to get the toddler flowers. And writes me poetry. Okay, I am not romantic. I try to be. I try really hard, but I'm awkward, and I come across very awkward, and I don't feel confident in being romantic, so when I try to be romantic, it just comes across really cringy. But he is romantic, and I have saved screenshots of all of the text messages that he sent me that are incredibly romantic and thoughtful and beautiful and make me just sweaty in the palms and make my heart race and give me butterflies all over again, even though it's been 11 years. He's constantly telling me how much he appreciates me and how much I mean to him and how hard he notices that I work. And he's incredibly thoughtful. If he sees that there's something that could be done that would make me happy, or he sees something that he thinks would help me, he will jump in and go do it. He knows I love books, so if he sees a book that he thinks I'll like, or a new copy or edition of a book that he thinks that I would enjoy, he will grab it for me and bring it home. Again, poetry. He writes me poetry. I have a binder in the closet of poems that he's written for me over the years. 1 year for our anniversary, that's what he did. Or for Mother's Day. I think it was for Mother's Day, he wrote me poetry. This man cooks. And this man cooks good, delicious food, okay? He cooks delicious food. I personally do not like cooking. I know, shocker. But I hate cooking. I hate planning meals. I hate prepping meals. I really only do it because it's necessary. So when he's home and he's available and he's not doing work from home stuff, he does a lot of cooking, particularly dinners. And he cooks me delicious food, and he'll wait and see. I want to see you taste it. I want to see the look on your face when you taste it. I made this just for you. I made it special. I made it with you in mind. And he'll have me taste it because he wants to see my reaction to what he made for me. This man has been my guiding, stabilizing rock for 11 years. We both went through a faith transition. Like I said in the beginning, we started out LDS. We no longer identify that way anymore, but he had his faith crisis first, but his was very simple. And I mean, I guess not simple. I don't want to reduce it or be reductionary, but he was able to accept it better than I was. And I had all sorts of issues with it, and I had all sorts of questions, and I was terrified. And I would ask him, like, what does this mean? Where do I go from here? How do I figure this out? And he was so supportive. He continued to go to church with me until I felt ready to be done going to church, or I felt like I could go by myself if I wanted to. He wore special LDS clothing until I felt comfortable with him letting it go. He was totally open, if I wanted to have an interfaith marriage where he didn't believe in the church and I did, if that's what I wanted. And he did not push me to come up with answers quickly. He did not guilt me or shame me when I was struggling with these things. Even when I got really intense and I would get really, really, really upset and feel like I needed to defend the church, he was very patient with me. And he just waited for me to come to conclusions on my own. He didn't interject his own opinions. He didn't force me to believe what he believed. He told me what he was feeling, and he told me what he felt was right for him, and that it didn't change how he felt about me, and it didn't change how he felt about our family, but it did change his happiness for the better, I would say. Absolutely. I think we've both been happier since we decided that the church wasn't for us. But he was not pressuring me. He was the most supportive of anybody that I talked to, and he really helped me through that time because it felt like my entire world was crumbling when that happened. He helped me through postpartum, like very supportive, very comforting, very helpful, and just there. We laugh almost every single day together. We joke, we're silly with each other. He makes me laugh. He laughs with me. Like I said, I'm weird, I'm awkward, I'm cringe. Totally 100%. I acknowledge and accept this about myself, and he matches my freak, if you know what I mean. He will play with me and joke with me and be silly on the same level. And we have so much fun together. Like I said, he's romantic, and I'm just not good at being romantic. So let's see. He's come up with the best nicknames for me. So he'll call me beautiful or gorgeous or sweetheart, but he's also come up with Pop-Tart. He'll call me his Pop-Tart or his butter pumpkin. And I came up with Pelican. You are my pelican. The best that I ever came up with was that he was my manwich. And while he said that he liked that in the fact that it was kind of objectifying and he's not upset at that, it wasn't necessarily romantic, and I don't think I can argue with him there. This man works his ass off, and he has since I met him. It took a while for him to figure out what kind of field he wanted to go into. The first couple of years, we were kind of bouncing around jobs, both of us, and then he decided he wanted to go into electrical. And so he went through 4 years of not only working full-time and doing his electrical apprenticeship to get his hours in, but also going to school several times a week, at least once a week, but sometimes a couple more, for 4 years to get his electrical degree. and to graduate from electrical school. And then he moved up very quickly in several electrical companies, and he was always going for the one that would provide the best for us. And then recently he got into a niche electrical field called NETA. And NETA has different levels of technicians, and they are scarce, and they are have to be certified, and they have to take certain tests to pass them. And this man, most people only get one NETA level certification per year, if that. And there are many people who have to try over and over and over again to get these certifications because the tests can be really difficult. This man went from a NETA 1 to a NETA 2 within, I think, 8 months. And then he said, I'm going to take a break. I need to take a break, because he had been working these really long shifts and traveling occasionally and studying hard so that he could get this next certification, so that he could make more money and he could provide better for us. And then he didn't take a break. He continued to study. He continued to push hard, and he made NETA 3 just a few months after he made NETA 2. So he went, whereas most people only get one certification per year, he got 2 in less than a year. So I am damn proud of him, and I am so amazed at all the hard work he does, and I am so blessed and lucky to have him in my life. And sometimes I feel like there aren't words to describe it. Sometimes I feel like I can't explain what he means to me and what he is to me. And I can't give him a gift that is big enough to matter enough to show him my gratitude for all that he does for me and our kids and our family and our life. We've built this beautiful, beautiful life together. And I am just so incredibly grateful to him for all that he's done to help us get here. I love this man so much. Like I said, he's my best friend. He is my person, and nothing will ever change that, in my opinion. 11 years, baby. 11 years. He is the person I go to when I'm sad. He's the person I go to when I'm angry. He's the person I go to when I'm lost. Even when I'm mad at him, I want to go to him. It's like, this is such a hard situation because I want to go to him to help me deal with the fact that I'm mad at him. It doesn't quite work. This man is amazing, and I know that, and I've seen that, and I think everybody else should see it too. And I want everybody else to see it too. I want everybody else to know, or as many people as possible to know, that this year for our anniversary, I am shouting from the rooftops that Nathan Lisenby is the best husband ever. And he's mine. And nobody else gets to say that because he's mine. He chose me. And I can't ever get over that. We get to go through life together, and we have all sorts of inside jokes, and we have our 3 beautiful babies that he is an incredible father to. He's constantly trying to find ways to play with them and interact with them. One of the hardest things for him when he works is that, especially if he has to travel and he has to stay overnight somewhere, is that he says it's too quiet. It's too quiet for him because he can't hear the noises of family all around him. And being at home and hearing the chaos of the children, or me laughing or talking his ear off, telling him about my entire day in explicit detail, is what makes it feel like home to him. And so he feels that really strongly when he has to be away from us. And we miss him too. And I think it's also a mark of how great of a father he is that our children miss him terribly when he's gone. Even if he's just gone for the day, they ask for him, and they ask where he is, and they ask, when is daddy going to be home? When can daddy play with me? When can I see daddy again? Because they know he loves them and he supports them, and he will push them to be their best, and he will love them no matter what. So I don't know how you guys use these ring light things. They are so bright, and I have tried, I don't know, maybe I can make it a little darker. Okay, so back to my husband, my amazing, amazing husband. This is a tribute video for our 11th anniversary on Saturday, December 13th, 2025. So that right now I'm going to go over a few of the wonderful gifts he's gotten me over the years, and then I'm going to tell all my favorite things about him, or a great deal of them. I don't think I could list all of them in this video without it being way too long. And then, yeah, a couple other things. So this necklace is one of the gifts he got me. We went to a, there was like a Native American rock and mineral show where we lived before we moved to where we are now, and we went almost every year with the kids, and they had all sorts of cool handmade crafts, handmade jewelry and stuff like that. And he saw this butterfly, and he knows how much I love butterflies, and so he picked this out for me and gave it to me. It also, the rock and mineral show with all of the crafts and everything, it also happens pretty much really close to my birthday, so it happened to be perfect timing. This one, just the other day, so he was cleaning up the kitchen and he found a little baggie that had one of our daughter's teeth that she lost. She's 7, so she's just barely losing her teeth. And it had one of those in there, and he's like, where should we put this? We don't want to lose it. And he went to go put it upstairs in our closet, and he noticed that I didn't have any specific like places to put things. And so I saw him like playing on his phone, like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm looking at Etsy. And what he did is he went and bought me a keepsake box. And this was just like a couple weeks ago, and he had it engraved with my name. And then he went and put a little inscription. It says, for the memories and love through all the years, forever safe and never forgotten. And he picked that inscription, or he came up with it on his own. He's really good with words. And then one year we were just out and about at a mall, and he took the kids to go look at something while I was looking at like a bookstore, because I get lost in bookstores. And he happened across like this little old antique shop, or this shop that had like specialized versions of things, and he found this version of Pride and Prejudice with the gold leafing on the edges and everything, and like a smaller version. And he knew I loved this book, so he got me this beautiful, beautiful version. And then one year, I am a huge Brandon Sanderson stan, whatever you want to call me. I read all of his books all the time, and so the first books I ever read of Brandon Sanderson's were the Mistborn series. And so my husband, these are not freaking cheap, guys. He went and he got me this beautiful leather-bound, beautiful gold-leafed artwork inside, beautiful version of the first Mistborn book, so that I would have a collector's item edition of this book. And then I was telling in another part of the video how he wrote me poems, and this is that binder from Mother's Day a few years ago, and he called it The Pelican Who Loves His Pop-Tart, because again, I came up with Pelican as his nickname, and he calls me his Pop-Tart, so there's that. And okay, so I guess it was for my birthday, because he wrote me a note. And it says, my darling Pop-Tart, happy birthday. I wanted to give you something special this year, and I couldn't think of anything better than this. We often get so busy, it is hard to find time to show each other how much we love each other. So I am writing this book so you can look at it whenever you need to be reminded just how much I love you. In this book, you will find a collection of poems I've written for you, and you can expect many more. My current goal is to write every week as long as writer's block doesn't get in the way, and continue to add on to it as we go along. I will continue to add more until I fill this book, and when it is finally full, I will probably make you a new one. Some of these poems are serious while others are silly, but just know each one is because I seriously love you. Some are written well and others are written poorly, but again, they are all written because you deserve the best I can offer you. I am so glad I get to be your husband, and I'm even gladder because I get to continue to be. I can't wait to see your face when you read them and continue to read them throughout the years. And he's written me so many notes over the years that just go over how much he loves me, just so that I always have documentation and proof in accordance with his actions as well. This one is called Love and Wind, and he wrote, "It was the winds of fate which brought us together. A simple blind date became a love to remember. These winds blew you into my life with energetic glee, a love so sublime it set my potential free. I say beauty controls the wind, for as far as I can see, your beauty inside and out takes the wind out of me. Your love is like breath, for I choke in its absence. Life has more meaning when I'm in your presence. So stay by my side, my darling, and I promise I will do everything I can to be the one to stand by you." This man. And he reads, some of them are really beautiful, like that one, and some of them are really silly. This one's Queen of Queens. "What love holds true to his shattered dreams, or lasts the night when sun can't gleam? What heart stands firm in monstrous pain and fights so love can win again? When all is lost and hope is gone, which queen shall rise among the throng? My wife, my dear, my hope, my song, you are the one who holds on long. With heart so firm and strength untold, you are the love which wins so bold. What better beacon shows the way to love than you, my heart and day? For I shall show the strength of you, the benefits of love so true. For queens deserve their kings, and who am I to deny such things? From Queen of Queens, from love of loves, from heart of hearts, the heaven of my above." And I have a ton of these, not a son. This one's like a little bit sillier. And it says, "A silly little boy loved a sillier girl, and the adventures they had sent both on a whirl. A baby boy, baby girl, and one on the way, with 4 years of school and work, and a mother at home to stay. It didn't come easy, it didn't come fast, but the work we put in together made it come at last. Who else could overcome such things but a silly boy and a sillier girl, who gave each other rings? Many have overcome, but I don't care who. There is one who did I do care about, and that one is you. So how do I end this silly little rhyme? Why, I tell you that I love you for now until the end of time." He did one about pregnancy gas. It was very silly. "Year to year, I wake up early, and why me? What other words can be said? What other dreams can come true? That a poor smuck such as myself could gain the love of one such as you? Was it because of my fine words? Or maybe it was that I accepted you? Was it because of my fun or class, with all your heart, or your spunk and your sass? Maybe it was because you saw something inside a fool like me. What could it be, I wonder? What did you see? I suppose I may never know the truth behind it all. Just know that you are the one for whom I will forever fall." And again, like I said, he writes stuff like this for me all the time. Romantic, just like I said, he's very romantic, and that's one of the many things that I love about him that I think is so amazing. He wrote me a note just the other day in his own handwriting. He just went and grabbed a piece of my what's it called, not cardstock, stationery. I had some fancy stationery for some stuff for the kids, and he went and grabbed a piece and just sat down and wrote me this long beautiful note about how much he loved me. So yeah, those are some of the gifts that he's given me over the years. Just a few. He's given me many more. And next I'm going to talk about things that I love about him and some silly stories that have happened in our life. Okay, so things that I love about my husband, Nathan. I love when he smiles, his eyes crinkle in the corners. Like when he's really smiling, they crinkle right here in the corners. I don't think I can do it. I can't do it. But he has these amazing hazel green eyes, and when he smiles, for real, it reaches from his mouth to his eyes, and his eyes crinkle. And you can tell just how happy he is when his eyes crinkle in the corners. I love his mind. It's fascinating. The other day I was like, what are you thinking about? Because he was like staring off into space and he was like random stuff. And I was like, I want to know about it. And he was like, okay. So he said he was thinking about like somehow he got onto air bubbles, and then air bubbles reminded him about how seals can go underneath the ice and create air bubbles so that they don't have to come up and be eaten by polar bears. And then that led to something else. A lot of times he can't remember how he got to the current thing he's thinking about, and I think it's hilarious and funny and fascinating. I love how when we go out and about to places, because he's an electrician, he will investigate or inspect the electrical work. He'll look at like the conduit and the wiring, and sometimes I'll get, oh, this is really nice conduit. This is really nicely done conduit. I love how organized it all is. It's very well done. Or, man, this electrical work is shoddy. It's not good electrical work. I could have done so much better. Those wires are all over the place. Or, you see that? Do you know what that electrical box is? Do you know what that does? Do you know what that does? And I love having him sit and explain to me all the things that he does for work and all the electrical stuff and point out where it's good and where it's bad. He does it with like substations too. Like when we're driving on the road, he'll point out substations and electrical boxes, and he'll ask the kids and I if we know what they do and how they work and why they're important or what you should never do around them. And I think it's so much fun and it's hilarious. Oh my gosh, another thing he does that I absolutely love is he'll sing along with songs, and he will not know the lyrics. He will not know what they are. He just has no idea. So he'll just make up his own lyrics that have nothing to do with the song. He'll just make up his own lyrics and he'll just be singing along with the song, with the lyrics that he made up that make no sense. But he sings it with full confidence that those are the lyrics, even though they're not the lyrics. I love how creative he is. You guys heard some of my poems that he wrote for me, and those are just a few. He is also creating an RPG. So he loves RPGs, he loves Dungeons and Dragons and a bunch of other ones, and he wanted to be able to share that with his kids. But RPGs can get kind of complicated, if I could speak. And so he started creating his own RPG that he could play with our kids. It's a family RPG that's like geared towards kids so that the rules and the gameplay and everything is appropriate for kids and understandable for kids. And I have to tell you, my kids love it. For the toddler, he'll just like print off like a little coloring page with little characters that the toddler can color while we play. And then he'll help the kids fill out their character sheets with their traits and their abilities and everything that he's created. He spent hundreds of hours on this RPG and he still works on it. Like whenever he has a few minutes to be free or to not do anything, he's not working, nobody needs his help, he'll sit down and he'll work on this RPG and he'll, refine it and fix it or figure out how to make things better. And then we'll play it every once in a while. We'll play it for a game night, or we played it like twice the other couple weeks ago. We played it like twice, and he'll take feedback from the kids, and we play all sorts of hilarious scenarios, and the kids have to come up with problem solving to get out of the scenarios, and they have to learn what works, what's a good idea, what's not a good idea, how to work as a team, etc. Never want it to end. And he's created this entire world, this entire game, and the parameters for this game by himself. He also writes, like he's writing books, and he writes so phenomenally. Sometimes I think he's like from a different planet because he writes like in prose almost, and it's beautiful and haunting, and he will be in the middle of writing a portion of one story and then he'll be like, oh my gosh, babe, I just had an idea for another book. And I think he probably has ideas for like 50 plus books right now. He just doesn't have the time to sit down and write on all of them, but he does work on them occasionally. And recently, within the last few months, he showed me a draft of one of his books that he's been working on, and it's some of his best work ever. So I love that he's creative, and I love how he writes and the games he comes up with, and how he is just, he's incredibly smart. And I say this because of so many reasons. Like I said, he passed the NETA tests, the 2 and 3, in less than a year, and is now a certified NETA 3 technician. And he did that in less than a year, and he always worries that he's not studying enough, but he can pass a lot of these things without needing to study, but he still studies just because he wants to make sure. You can bring up something random. For instance, yesterday, the kids and I, and he was home yesterday, so we were going over the presidents of the United States, and we were going through, we have a bunch of different sets of cards with the presidents and their party and which president they were, and we were going through these cards, and I was asking them, like, what number president are they? What was their party? How many terms did they serve? And he was asking them, do you know why this president was important? What is this president remembered for? And he knew all sorts of facts about these presidents that I had never heard of, that he knew. I remember one time we had a conversation really close to the beginning of our marriage where he was talking about manufacturing rules and like advertisement rules on cereal boxes. And I was like, how do you even know that? He's like, my dad told me something about it when I was like 8. And I was like, and you remembered that? And he totally did. And like, you could tell him something one time, he could learn about something one time, and then later he will remember it. And most of the time he has like data and statistics and studies that he's read that he can cite to you when he's telling you about this stuff. So he's very, very intelligent and very smart and very hardworking, and I love how hardworking he is. I love his sense of humor. First of all, he has this dark sense of humor sometimes, where he likes dark jokes, and I didn't get it at first, and he's kind of taught me, like, it's nothing terrible, it's just that wasn't my thing, and he kind of taught me to not take things as seriously, take myself so seriously. And so I love his sense of humor, and I love when he sends me memes or jokes about our relationship and like things like about like me having cold feet and like using him as a heater. I love that he gets my sense of humor, or even if he doesn't get it, he'll still like join in and be silly with me, and we can joke and play and have so much fun together. I love that he can cook. I love his cooking, and he loves to cook. Like, he finds it stress relieving and relaxing to cook. So I love that he can cook, and I love the food that he makes. I don't think he's ever made anything bad. And his steaks, the way he makes steak, have ruined me for all other steak. Like, when I go out to a restaurant now, unless it's like a 5-star or Michelin rated restaurant, which I've never been to, he will, like, I don't order steak when I go to restaurants because I am always disappointed because it doesn't taste as good as the ones he makes at home. Let's see, what else? So many things. I love that he shares with me, that he tells me what he's thinking about and ideas he's having, and he feels comfortable sharing his thought processes and his ideas with me. I love when he falls asleep in my lap. His love language is physical affection, and he loves head scratches and back scratches. And so when he needs a recharge or he needs some extra love, he'll lay on my lap and I will scratch his head, and he will fall asleep. And I think I have some pictures of him falling asleep on my lap to me scratching his head while I just watch a show. I love his creativeness and his ideas, and he'll be like, I'll be having a problem or like trying to fix something like physical or whatever. He'll be like, I have an idea for that. And I would say like 8 to 9 times out of 10, the idea works. I do homeschool for my kids, and I do most of the paperwork and the planning and the prepping and the grading, but he's so good at Google Sheets that recently I was like, I'm just going to give you guys, or I'm just going to give you, whenever I need like cards or a sheet created, I'm just going to say, hey babe, I need this sheet. Can you make it for me? And he said, absolutely. So he went and he made something this one wasn't for homeschool, it was for another aspect, like a kid's point chart. And he went and he created it for me, and he sent me a cute little email that said that his skills are always at my disposal, and whenever I need them, just let him know and he'd be happy to work on it for me. And that he loves me so much, and he loves how dedicated I am to our children, and just let him know what I need. And it's amazing. And I mean, earlier today I was sitting down gathering some pictures for this video and everything, and he doesn't know I'm making it yet, and he got up and went in and he was doing the dishes, and I said, thank you so much for doing the dishes, and he says, of course, it's my job. It's my job. Dishes are my job. And yeah, so those are some gifts he's given me, some of the things I love most about him. I think he's incredibly handsome, and there's certain outfits that he wears. He knows which ones I'm talking about. He wears these like khaki shorts and the tennis shoes. I guess you could say it's the traditional like dad outfit. The tennis shoes with the socks, and then the khaki shorts or the cargo shorts, and then like a button-down t-shirt, a nice button-down t-shirt, and then he'll put his baseball cap on. Just love it. Just love it. I love that he looks kind of like a biker rocker guy now. When we were first married, he had a full head of hair, but he started to thin, so he's just been shaving it, and he trims his beard really nice. There are pictures in this video, and I love the look. I think he looks sexy and awesome and hot and handsome, and it's just too bad that you can't have him because he's mine. So some funny stories from when we were married. Since we've been married, since we were dating. I remember one time we were dating, and he came over to my house in the morning, and I had just gotten out of bed, and I had not done any makeup or anything. I just brushed my hair, and I came down, and he was like, "This is what you look like in the mornings. This is what you look like." Damn. And I don't think he said damn at that time, but he might have. He's always had like a potty mouth, so he might have said it. But the point is, he made me feel beautiful. He made me feel like I was enough just for me without any extras. And he made a big, big deal about how gorgeous I looked just having woken up. Because one time when we were dating and we'd been spending some time together again at my house, and he was getting ready to leave, and I went to give him a hug and a kiss goodbye, and I let one rip. And this was the first time that I had done that in front of him, and I was mortified. I was so mortified. And he says, "Oh, it's not a big deal. Here." And he farted too, and he said, "I've been holding that one in for hours." And totally alleviated the situation, made me feel normal and human, and it was just it's one of my favorite memories. One of my favorite memories. And there are many, many favorite memories, but that was one of them. This one's kind of sad for him, but it's also one of my favorite memories because I remember my mom told me that she knew she wanted to marry my dad when she realized she wanted to take care of him just as much as she wanted him to take care of her. And that has always really stuck with me. And so Nathan started getting a cold, and I had a work shift, and we had agreed to meet at my house after. And I stopped at the store after work, and I grabbed him like some juice and some cold medicine, some Vicks Vapor Rub and stuff. And it was just like normal stuff to me that I thought would be helpful. And I brought it to him, and I handed him the bag, and he was like, "What is this?" And I was like medicine and stuff. And he's like, "Okay, yeah, I see that, but what for?" And I was like, "Because you're sick." He's like, "Yeah, but why?" I'm like, "Because I wanted to help you." "You did?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And he was just like so taken aback that I had gotten this for him. It made me sad for him, but it made me happy that I got to take care of him, if that makes any sense. I got to be the person to jump in and help him. Let's see. What else? I remember one time he was working so hard. He was working so hard and he was exhausted. And one of my best friends had just had her wedding and they were having a reception. And he came with me to the reception and I drove us to the reception and he fell asleep in the car on the way to the reception. So I just let him sleep for a little bit and then he came in when he woke up. I took the kids in with me and we started dancing and having fun. And then he came in after he woke up from a little nap in the car. And that's because it was important to him to still go with us even though he was so tired. He plays games with the kids all the time. I had another story I was thinking of just a minute ago that I wanted to share. Oh, yes. Okay. So I sometimes feel very insecure about my appearance, and he has always been super supportive of me. He has always told me how beautiful my body is, and he's always told me how like my stretch marks and the changes that my body's been through to have children are even more beautiful to him because of the sacrifice that I made to give him babies. And so he's always been very supportive in that way. But one time I was feeling really insecure. I was feeling ugly and fat and just like super poorly about myself. And I shared this with him, and I think it was via text message. Maybe not. He sent it to me many times since this original time, but I told him how I was feeling, and he said, don't feel ugly, feel sexy, because that's what you are. And that's become like a catchphrase in our marriage now. So, like, whenever I feel down or upset about something about myself, he'll say, don't feel blank, feel sexy, because that's what you are. So another thing I love about him that I didn't put earlier that I just went and checked my notes is I love when he laughs. When he fully really laughs, he like throws his head back and his whole body is in this laughter and he's just like in full joy mode. And I absolutely love his laugh and I love it's infectious and it makes me laugh too. And we just end up having a really good time together. And I love when he laughs. Another thing that means a whole lot to me is that he has made so many of my childhood dreams, my childhood goals, my goals in general. He has helped me manifest them or make them real. I remember one time we were having a conversation about, me wanting to be a stay-at-home wife and everything like that. And he said he would never have picked a girl who didn't want that because he wouldn't want to take her away from what she wanted to do. He wanted to pick a girl that wanted to be a stay-at-home mom because he wanted to be able to help make her dreams come true and have a family and a stay-at-home wife without taking away from his partner's dreams and goals. So he wanted to find somebody that he could help their dreams be true and also complement what he wanted to do, which was be the provider. So he helped me make that true. I did have to work for the first several years that we were married and for the first several years of our first two children's lives. And then because he kept progressing in work and getting better and higher paying jobs, that now I'm able to stay home and homeschool our children. So he helped me. I mean, obviously we worked together, but he helped make a huge portion of that true, and he sustains it to this day by being the provider and being the one that goes out and makes all the money. He took me to the ocean for the very first time. I had always wanted to see the ocean. I was so excited to see the ocean. I'd never had an opportunity. So I want to say in 2018, he took me on my first ever trip and we went to San Francisco and he booked everything. He made all the reservations and we went to San Francisco and I got to play in the ocean for the very first time. And it was as magical as I expected it to be. Like, I have always watched the ocean from afar, like in movies and videos, seen pictures. I've always had a love of dolphins. And so I've always felt drawn to the ocean. And so when he took me to the ocean for the very first time, it was very magical. And then he made me his wife. So I get to be a wife, which is something I've always wanted to be. And if that's not your thing, cool. But I've always wanted to be a wife to an amazing man, and he helped make that come true as well. And then I like my love of dolphins from before what I was saying. I've always loved dolphins. I've been connected to dolphins. I've loved them. I collected dolphins as a child, dolphin knickknacks, dolphin blankets, dolphin everything, jewelry. And this last March, he took me and the kids. We planned everything and we went to SeaWorld. It was just a quick weekend trip. I think we were in San Diego for or around SeaWorld for like 3 days. But he took me to SeaWorld and this sounds weird. He was in charge of the kids. Like he was like, you don't worry about the kids. I want you to enjoy this as much as you can, like you're a little kid. Because he knew how important it was to me. And so he was the one watching them the majority of the time. He was the one taking care of them and making sure that they had what they needed so that I could fully invest myself as much and immerse myself as much as possible into this experience. And we bought, oh my gosh, I was so excited. We bought these tickets to meet dolphins. And I kid you not, I was fangirling over these dolphins. First, we went and saw the dolphin show. And the dolphins, I could see them back behind their little enclosure before they came out to the main area. And I was like, babe, there are dolphins. I can see the dolphins. I've never been this close to dolphins in my life. And I was like a little kid. There were guests there that were like, see, somebody's excited. And he was like, this has been her childhood dream. And they were like, oh, that's sweet. And people were like pointing it out that I was acting like so excited and so full of joy. And I'm going to include the picture of me meeting this dolphin, doing the up close dolphin experience, because even though it's not my favorite picture in how I look, this is like one of the most joyful pictures. I have very few other pictures if you include my wedding day and the days that my children were born, and then this picture. Those are the pictures that you will see where I have pure, unadulterated joy. And he helped me make that happen. He helped me be able to get there. And he just let me fully enjoy it. And he let me, like, he was so supportive, is what I'm trying to say. He took care of the kids so that I didn't have to worry about all the stuff for them and being more of a mom than experiencing the dolphins and the ocean stuff for myself. So, yeah, he made it happen for me. And it was beautiful. It was amazing. It was one of my favorite experiences that I've ever had. So our wedding day was really simple. We were still LDS at the time, so we did have what's called a temple marriage. And we just invited a few people that we cared about to be there. My grandpa witnessed the ceremony. I think his older brother also witnessed the ceremony and signed the certificate. Yeah, we didn't have like a reception or anything. We just had a very small, short, intimate ceremony at the temple. And we've talked about at one point in our marriage, at some point, we would like to have a vow renewal ceremony that is a little bit more traditional and maybe a little bit bigger. But it was a very simple, very beautiful day. And he carried me over the threshold of our rental property or our little apartment that we were renting after we got married. And I mean, we didn't have a big honeymoon or anything like that. It was just very small and very intimate. And I think something that's really important about this is, yes, we were young and yes, we had a lot to learn, but we got to grow together and we fit into each other's lives because it's the life we've built together. And we've become even more best friends through what we've been through. And we know we can go through hard times together and we can come out of it better than ever, stronger together. We are a team, and it's one of the best experiences of my life. And that wedding day, December 13th, 2014, was the beginning of this last 11 years together that I'm so incredibly grateful for. That is the biggest blessing in my life that made everything else that we have and that we do possible. This man is just amazing, and I just want everybody to know how amazing he is. So, babe, Nathan, my pelican, I want you to know that I'm making this video for you. I'm making it because I feel like you deserve kudos. I feel like you deserve praise and love and attention, and that you should know how amazing you are and how great you are and how much of a green flag you are and how appreciative I am of you. And I hope that I tell you that enough regularly, but I wanted to tell you in a really big, really special way. And so I hope that this video hits the mark, that it works, and that you like it as much as I hope you do, Will. And that you know that you are my ride or die. You're my bestest friend. You're my pelican. I'm your Pop Tart, and that will never ever change. And you are an amazing father to our children, and you are my best friend and my teammate in life. And if I were ever going to get in trouble with someone, I would want to get in trouble with you. And if I were ever going to win the lottery with someone, I would want to win the lottery with you. And if I was ever going to have to run for my life from a zombie apocalypse, I would want to do it with you. And you know how afraid I am of zombies, even though they're not real. I'm terrified. So hopefully that means a lot to you. And I just can't wait for 11 more years just to see where we are and what we're doing and how much more we've grown together individually and together as partners, as the dynamic duo that we are. I think we complement each other. I think that where I am weak, you are strong, and where you are weak, I am strong, and we are able to fill in the gaps for each other and for our children together. I'm incredibly grateful for all that you do. I'm incredibly grateful that you're as selfless as you are and that you work so hard and that you put so much effort into our lives. And I hope you know that all of this is true and that I love you more than anything. And I hope you know that I appreciate you more than anything, and that I am so proud to be your wife, and I am so proud for other people to know that I'm yours and that you're mine and you belong to me and nobody else can have you. Happy 11th anniversary, babe. I love you so much, and you deserve to know that.